Hello, Oshkosh neighbors. It is May 9th, and many of us, those that own properties in Oshkosh, recently got a piece of mail, or will be in the next day or two, from the Oshkosh City Assessor. So, this has been a really hot topic in my world for the last 24 hours, and something that I wanted to just shed a little bit of light on from my perspective and let people know what I'm seeing, what the impacts may be, and maybe clear up some misinformation there, or some uh, things that people are struggling with that may not be fully true or fully realized. So, it's not my intention to say that the city is right or wrong, or if your particular property is being assessed, the correct way or not. I just want to give information again from my perspective and what I'm seeing, and maybe a little bit of not necessarily justification, but rationale behind why these changes have been made and why we're getting these new assessments. So, first thing I want to do is provide some resource for you guys. You will have all gotten the letter in the mail talking about the reevaluation and the reassessment process. Read through that. Good information there. Kind of explains what the process was, and then it digs in individually to your property, what you were previously assessed at versus the reassessment, and you can take that information what it is. So again, read over the pamphlet that they sent in the mail. Also check out oshkoshwi.gov/assessor. You can just do a Google search for Oshkosh City Assessor, and that's going to take you here as well. But they do have some good information on their website here. Talking about the reevaluation, talking about the resources, how the property taxes that we pay in annually, where they go, how they get distributed. And then they have links out to some YouTube videos that they recently posted speaking directly to this reevaluation and this reassessment process. So I did want to point that out as well. The YouTube page. This is great. If you don't follow Oshkosh Media, I recommend that you do. They post all of the Winnebago County board meetings, all of the Oshkosh City Common Council meetings, school board, all the different planning commissions and different commissions that we have in Oshkosh. So come out here. There's a 7-minute video talking about the reevaluation. Pretty much reiterates what you're seeing in your little flyer, and then what you would have read on the website. But again, just an easier way to kind of consume that information and wrap your head around it. So that's kind of the initial disclaimers and allowing you to get the information from the city that you can. What I'm interested in is the actual valuations and the actual pricing. That's my world. What I sell real estate, and whether I'm helping you sell your property or helping a buyer buy one, I'm very in tune with and very sensitive to what our home prices are. And I like data. I like the information. So I wanted to dig in a little bit just from a hard numbers perspective and kind of see how things are shaking out. So one of the things that they said in the resources was there's an estimated average increase of 50% on all properties in Wisconsin, in Oshkosh rather. 75% increase for residential, 30% for commercial. And again, these are averages. So depending on your property, the age of it, updates that you've done over the years, that can be a wide range there. What I've been hearing from most of my clients, friends, and family is we're looking somewhere in that 60 to 75% range is what a lot of people are seeing. I have a couple investors that have maybe a little bit lesser valued rental properties that have gone up over 100%. So that's what an average is, right? Some are going to be high, some are going to be low. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this, and I'm going to say it a few times, is just because your assessed value has gone up by X percent does not mean that your tax bill is going up by that same percent. Now, there's a lot of mathematics and gymnastics that happens behind the scenes as to what that mill rate is or that tax assessed rate is. So I'm not going to be able to give you an exact number, but just know that if our city budget is X, and we're getting those dollars from tax revenue, property tax revenue, your assessed value of your property is going up. We want to know approximately what our properties are worth in the real world. They're going to adjust that tax rate or that mill rate to evenly distribute all of that. So, I look at my personal residence went up 62%. I do not expect that my tax bill is going up 62% this year. The kind of unsettling part is we don't know exactly what that mill rate is yet. We don't know how those numbers are going to shake out. So I can't say that 100%, but I would be shocked if my bill went up that amount. Will it go up some? I sure bet it will. How often do our taxes go down? So I just want to hopefully ease a little bit of the concerns that I do not believe it's going to be going up by that direct percentage of what your assessed value is, because that mill rate or that tax assessed rate is going to be altered downward, because now we have a bigger tax base to begin with, or a property value base to begin with. The percentage we need to take of that will reduce. Okay, so let's dig in. I looked at and again, this isn't an exact science either. You can kind of massage numbers to tell whatever story you want to tell. But, if they said the last time they did a citywide reevaluation was in 2017, what I did is I looked at, today's date, May 9th of 2017 through May 9th of 2018, that year span. And at that time in the world we were living in, the median sales price of a home in Oshkosh was $119,900. And that's from a total of 735 sales. So that median price, I do prefer median when we have a large number as opposed to average, just because, the handful of $2, $3, $5 million properties are not really representative of what Oshkosh is. So I prefer to take that median number rather than an average number. So let's, say close to $120,000 is that number that we were looking at for the year of 2017 into 2018. Then if we fast forward to today, our median sales price is right at 200 even. And we had a few less sales this year than we did, back in 2017. That's off of 528 total sales. But that number has gone to 200,000. So again, I'm not trying to justify necessarily the increases, but we know that the city assessed values have been low and have been low for years, haven't kept up with the appreciating market. So this is the real sales data that from 2017-ish, we had $120,000 average sales price. Now to 2024, we have a $200,000 sales price. We run the numbers and look at the math. That's 66.8% increase we've had over that, call it 7 years, 6 years. So that's substantial, right? And I think that I would prefer, and I would think most of us would prefer, when you go onto the city website and look at a tax assessed record, that you would want that to be somewhat based in reality, that property should be market valued at X, and the city should be somewhat in touch with that. So I think it's appropriate, and that's why it's a state regulation that every, I don't know if they call it 5 years or periodically 7 years, we have to go through and do a full citywide reassessment, which is what they're doing now, because it has gotten out of touch. What if the market had gone down, 10% a year over year for the last 5 years? We would hope as property owners that it be adjusted, so we're not paying tax base off of that as well. So to me, this makes sense. And I just wanted to drive home that in that number of years since the last reevaluation, it's been 66.8% increase in home values. The other thing I want to talk about is just kind of, we get sensitive about this information and these changes depending on where we are in our world and in our life cycle. When it comes to taxes, no one wants to pay more. And now you say, oh, my house is more valuable from a tax base. I don't like that. But the point I want to also make is, if I were to be listing your home for sale, we want to show that your house is more valuable. And no one would look at the city assessed record as it was yesterday and say that that's a fair value. No one would be selling their home for what the city said that it was worth previously. So again, it depends on where we are. When it comes time for you to sell, you're going to want this number to be higher. So just wanted to shed a little bit of perspective on that, and And then, I'll do a follow up to this, because the big question mark is going to be, what will that new mill rate, that new tax rate be? And how much is the increase actually going to be? Because I do not believe it's going to be 50 to 75% in your actual tax burden. So a little bit of a fluid process here, but something, like I said, I've been getting a lot of calls from clients, from friends and family. It's a hot topic right now. Everyone's got the letters in the mail, and everyone's, a little anxious about what that is. So from just a pure data perspective, that's what I'm seeing in my world. And, the other thing is that I didn't mention, City of Oshkosh is going to have an open book period, they call it. So that's an opportunity for a property owner to ask questions of the city assessors. Why is the value what it is? And then potentially dispute that if you feel that that was an incorrect evaluation. So if you feel that your home was improperly priced, I haven't been through that process, to be very honest. But I would imagine if the city was going to make an adjustment, they would need some actual data as to why we would do that, whether, there was some reason the home is valued at less. Maybe you had a garage that you've since removed, so now you don't have that anymore. Or maybe there's just been sales in the neighborhood are not, adding up to what they valued your property at. That's where I could come in. If you do want a comparative market analysis done, I can run some numbers. I can show you similar homes that have sold in the last year. And then if all of those are less than what you were valued at, you might have an argument to be made to say that your valuation was too high. So if that is something I can help out, or you wanted some of that data, shoot me a message, and I can get that off to you. All right, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. Again, a fluid process and something that's still in motion here. I don't have all the answers for it, but that shows a little bit of the numbers side of things. So let me know if you have questions. Thanks, Oshkosh.